I'm a beta. This marks my 3rd year serving as human suppressant for my alpha boss James. His omega first love has returned. I immediately packed my bags and tried to flee, only to get caught red-handed at the airport by James. He glared at me through gritted teeth. Where do you think you're going? I forced a dry laugh. Would you believe I'm here to pick up your precious ex? Rivercrest Estate. Now, sighing at the text, I knew James was having another episode. I just finished enduring the blind date my mother arranged, still scrubbing off the lingering white tea scent from my skin. At 9 p.m., I pulled out a liter-sized perfume bottle and doused myself thoroughly before hailing a cab. James, a top-tier alpha with erratic rut cycles. Countless omegas begged for his bite, yet he'd chosen a glandless beta like me. All because I vaguely resembled his precious ex. He'd propositioned me on my 2nd workday about developing a side hustle. The obscene paycheck made it impossible to refuse. The taxi driver kindly warned me about venturing out near heat cycles. Touching. Except betas don't experience heats. James' bodyguard trembled while opening the door, his alpha instincts crushed under James' overwhelming pheromones. My stomach tightened. Just how severe was this episode? He yanked me into a vice grip the moment I entered. James' bloodshot eyes burned as he desperately bit at my nape, frustration growing when no scent glands responded. His wandering hands slipped under my shirt until I grabbed his wrist. Mr. Carter, that requires premium compensation. Our original deal only covered neck bites. But James had lost all rationality, muttering, "Where's the scent?" between feverish kisses. I sprayed his custom-designed perfume, the very one he'd gifted me. He recoiled like I doused him in acid. Not this. Never this. His broken whisper chilled me. Please, I need. What else could he possibly want? This obsessive alpha had me trapped in his arms, our twisted arrangement unraveling by the second. The citrus-tinged perfume hung heavy between us, mocking reminder of the substitute he'd created yet now rejected. Wasn't this whole setup specifically tailored to match your precious first love? I exhaled sharply, wrenching myself free from his grasp. James' arms hung empty as tears began streaming down his face. I gaped in disbelief, discreetly pulling out my phone to record the spectacle before fitting him with a muzzle. This was beyond ridiculous. My neck bore multiple raw patches burning with pain. After collecting himself, James sat weeping on the floor while I composed myself on the couch, puzzling over what could have triggered such extreme behavior. During our 3 years together, his ruts had been manageable, mostly clinging to me while sleeping, occasionally grazing my neck with his teeth for relief. This unprecedented meltdown had me massaging my temples as I administered an inhibitor shot to the sniffling alpha. Want to sleep together? I offered. He nodded miserably, curling around me in bed while soaking my shirt with tears for hours. Too agitated to sleep in damp clothes, I scrolled through my phone and immediately discovered the reason for his breakdown. His omega first love, Evelyn, had gotten engaged to the youngest son of South Korea's wealthiest family. The lavish ceremony dominated entertainment headlines, complete with paparazzi shots of the glowing couple. "Sweetheart, what are you looking at?" James mumbled against my shoulder. "Your public humiliation," I mentally answered, swiftly locking my screen. "Nothing important. Go back to sleep. You were checking out other men, weren't you?" "Of course not." "Then show me your phone." I reluctantly handed it over. James glanced at the engagement photos and began sobbing harder. "You're looking at 2 men at once. You'll cringe so hard when this rut passes," I thought grimly. The following days trapped in James' penthouse featured endless variations of, "Let me claim you, sweetheart. I'm a beta. Your bites don't stick. Just one kiss. That requires separate compensation. Don't you love me anymore?" I massaged my throbbing temples, screaming internally, "Love my ass. I've decided. Once I've saved up enough cash, I'm outta here. Can't stomach another day of this." Good news though, James' rut cycle finally ended. Knew it the moment he got up this morning without that clingy baby nonsense. Weird how that empty feeling crept into some corner of my chest. Not dwelling on it, I bid my polite farewells. His stormy eyes darkened as he struggled for words. "I'll have my driver take you home," he finally said. "Free ride? Hell yeah." Next morning, I dressed sharp, reached for my usual cologne spray when it hit me. Evelyn's engaged now. Dousing him in familiar sense would be salt in the wound. Tossed the bottle aside. First time in 3 years I showed up to work fragrance-free. Being the executive assistant isn't bad. Except for all the unavoidable contact with the boss himself. We've maintained this unspoken agreement for years. Never mention what happens during ruts. But today James kept accidentally passing my desk. Finally confronted him. Something you need, Mr. Carter? Why aren't you wearing cologne today? Seriously? Pining this hard after she's taken? The first love obsession is real. Good thing I carried my travel spray, doused myself in the scent right there. Satisfied, he retreated to his corner office with that stupid half-smile. The text came near quitting time. That William guy mom set me up with last week wanted dinner. Cringed. Started typing a refusal when headlights flashed outside. Everyone gawked at the luxury sedan idling by the curb. William waved like some damn parade float, spotlighting me in front of the whole office. Mortified, I slid into the passenger seat. Look, William, I'm not looking to date or get married. Not even a chance to win you over? No. And your behavior today made me really uncomfortable. Dude froze like I'd slapped him. Friends then? He bargained after an awkward pause. I'll back off. Promise. What could I say? Dinner as friends. That's it. Gotta play nice in this cutthroat world. Just two acquaintances grabbing a meal. I agreed again. When we arrived at the restaurant, William Parker looked slightly embarrassed as he instructed the staff to remove those suggestive decorations. It really was just friends having a meal. The conversation flowed smoothly during dinner. William was polite and humble, the polar opposite of that mad dog James. Somehow, my thoughts spiraled out of control after thinking about James. I kept picturing him sitting on the floor crying, calling me baby, burying his face in my neck while accusing me of checking out other guys. My body grew unbearably hot. I suddenly looked up, glaring at William. His gentle expression had vanished, replaced by triumphant cunning. Shit. I tried to bolt, but my limbs turned to jelly. He caught me as I stumbled, muffling my screams against his palm. Apologies, my partner's en route, he announced just loud enough for nearby diners to hear. Rut. Such a convenient excuse. But I'm a goddamn beta. I thrashed violently while other patrons averted their eyes. What stellar education we've had about ignoring omegas in heat. My heart froze as he dragged me toward the exit, the drugs leaving me barely conscious. A dark figure materialized from the shadows. Through blurred vision, I recognized James. His thunderous expression radiated enough alpha pheromones to make pedestrians collapse. William's grip loosened as he crumpled. I lunged toward James, who caught me stiffly, his chest heaving with rage. William tried crawling away. Still holding me, James kicked him clear across the sidewalk. Black-suited bodyguards swarmed in to handle the mess. Our driver raised the partition the moment James carried me into the car. My last shred of resistance evaporated. In the confined space, our breaths tangled as I pressed against his cool skin, hands roaming desperately over him. James, I'm so hot. James gripped my wrist, his jaw clenched. Drive faster. Call the doctor. Tell him to come to my place immediately. I was already tearing at my clothes. The cool air raised goosebumps on my exposed skin, but the feverish heat only worsened. An invisible fire raged through my veins, scorching every nerve. James, please help me. His eyes burned crimson as he cursed under his breath. Ethan, you brought this on yourself. Yeah. Totally my fault. My brain had officially melted into pure hormonal static. James ripped off his tie, binding my wrists above my head before crushing his lips against mine. I arched into him, shamelessly demanding more. He carried me through his penthouse door, ignoring the waiting physician in the lobby, and tossed me onto the bed. After extensive first aid, the drug's effects faded, leaving me lucid just as James entered another rut. Again, while normal alphas cycled quarterly, his biology had glitched into monthly breakdowns. Cue the waterworks. I massaged my aching lower back while soothing him, only to end up pinned beneath him again. James, stop biting. I don't have omega glands or a uterus. Don't you dare cry while... 3 days later, I lay limp on sweat-drenched sheets. James dozed with his face buried between my pecs, tear droplets still clinging to his lashes. My phone buzzed. The news headline froze my blood. Evelyn, James' first love, flees arranged marriage. Currently en route home from H Nation. James nuzzled my collarbone, voice sleep rough. Whatcha reading, sweetheart? Your actual soulmate's flight tracker. I stared at the ceiling. Time to disappear. Substitutes shouldn't overstay. I waited until his breathing deepened, then bolted with nothing but a resignation letter. Dawn found me at the airport. The gate agent frowned at my boarding pass. Flights grounded. My stomach dropped. A familiar growl vibrated against my ear. Where exactly are you fleeing, Ethan? James loomed behind me, fury radiating like a supernova. Fuck me senseless, then ghost? You think I'm some one-night stand? My knees buckled. Seriously? In trashy romance novels, runaway protagonists at least make it past security. Not this time. I've been caught red-handed. I squeezed my eyes shut, taking a deep breath before turning around with a forced smile. Would you believe I'm here to pick up your first love from the airport? James Carter snorted. Do I look that stupid? Since when do people greet arrivals dragging their own luggage? My smile collapsed. Hugging my package, I slowly crouched behind my suitcase. James froze, his expression softening as he mirrored my position. Why are you running? He demanded, crouching face to face with me. Before I could answer, a male voice interrupted. James? The trembling voice carried equal parts disbelief and hope. A man jogged closer, eyes glistening. James? It's really you. You came to meet me, didn't you? Evelyn Baker. I edged backward, creating space for their reunion. James paled. What are you doing here? I came home. James, The confession hung between them like fog. An inexplicable bitterness spread through my chest. Snatching my suitcase handle, I sprinted away. Ethan. James roared. Evelyn, let go. Came his furious follow-up as I heard scuffling behind me. My suitcase wheels shrieked against pavement, drowning out other noises, including the pounding footsteps gaining on me until strong arms locked around my waist. What the hell are you running from? James growled, breath ragged as his hands bit into my hips. The murderous grip suggested he might actually throttle me. I stammered, finally choking out. What are you doing? I should be asking you that. He manhandled me toward his car, dragging my suitcase one-handed. You sleep with me and then bolt? What do you take me for? Was I just some random hookup? Ethan, are you completely heartless? His tirade ended abruptly when I clamped a hand over his mouth. Something felt off about this entire confrontation. James shoved me into his luxury sedan's passenger seat. No driver, just him white-knuckling the steering wheel. The door slammed with finality. Suddenly deflated, he rested his forehead against my shoulder, voice muffled against my jacket. Ethan, do you hate me that much? My heart softened despite myself. Not exactly. Through the window, I saw Evelyn approaching. The familiar bitterness surged back. I sobered up slightly and poked him. Your first love's here. James lifted his head. I still faintly read. I've been wanting to ask since earlier. What first love are you talking about? Then who's that outside? Evelyn knocked sharply on the car window with a frown. James, are you deliberately trying to provoke me? James' expression turned icy as he activated the window's privacy tint. I stared blankly until he turned to me with deadly seriousness. Ethan, I don't have any first love. You're the only one I want. The sudden confession short-circuited my brain. Then why does everyone say she's your first love? How should I know? Where did you hear this nonsense? Sweetheart? The office gossip chat, they'd made it sound so convincing. Stories about him renting City A's downtown square billboard overnight for her birthday celebration. Rumors of James having a public meltdown when she left the country. She went abroad, not to her grave. If I loved her, why wouldn't I have followed? His aggrieved sniffle interrupted my thoughts. Sweetheart, my rut cycle isn't over yet. Rubbing my temples, I felt the tangled mess grow more complicated. He began squirming against me. Sweetheart, can I have a kiss? Fine. Next thing I knew, I was being carried suitcase and all into James' penthouse. The moment the door closed, He started acting like a rabid hound, sniffing and nuzzling everywhere, leaning against my aching lower back. I groaned. Shouldn't you get medical help for ruts this intense? James paused briefly before redoubling his efforts. Only you can fix this. What absolute bullshit. By the time his rut ended, my legs shook too badly to stand. After relentless protests, James finally let me return to my apartment. The faint scent of white tea hit me upon entering. Right? I'd forgotten about that. That liter-sized bottle of white tea perfume the bastard never explained. Fuming, I snapped a photo to confront him. His reply? No need to use it anymore. Great. Now that his precious first love's back. I don't even need perfume anymore. No more pretending. That I love you, he whispered earlier, must have been some impulsive whim. Blind with rage, I ignored his video call that evening. Sweetheart, why won't you answer? I just want to see you. Fuck off. James sent a barrage of cute, pleading stickers. I couldn't help but chuckle, picturing his whiny pout. My anger inexplicably faded a bit. I asked him, why don't you need to spray perfume anymore? My babe already smells like me all over. No need for perfume. Wait, whose scent? My phone clattered onto my face. I sat up, clutching my nose. An uncontrollable thought popped into my head. Betas can't detect pheromones, but alphas and omegas can. For the past 3 years, have I been walking around reeking of an alpha's scent this whole time? To everyone at the office, I've basically been with James. Holy shit. This is no different from streaking naked in public. James suddenly caught on. Babe, please let me explain. Okay, fine, I got carried away. But when I saw you kept using it, I thought you liked it, babe. Don't give me the silent treatment. I'm sorry, QAQ. I gritted my teeth and blocked him. Next morning, I found James crouching by my doorstep. When I emerged, he looked up with dark circles under his eyes. Babe. Neighbors passing by kept glancing our way. Get inside. You got it. I brought breakfast too. Babe. I made him set down the food before shoving all those bottles of white tea perfume into his arms. There. Now scram. You sure you don't want these? Babe? Had them custom blended to match my pheromones exactly. Fuck off. James lingered at the door. You coming to work later? Babe? I remembered last night's bank account review. I could coast through decades without lifting a finger. Not going, I declared. James suddenly relaxed. Good. I'll be swamped these next few days. Wait for me at home. Okay. The comment felt odd, but I just wanted him gone. Don't forget to unblock me. Babe. Fuck off. True to his word, James became insanely busy. He'd only message me briefly on WeChat at night. No sign of him otherwise. The white tea perfume incident made me too embarrassed to visit his office. Not that I go out much anyway. Counting the days, we hadn't met for nearly 2 weeks. Then one day, an unexpected visitor arrived. Evelyn strode in, wrinkling her nose as she theatrically waved a hand in front of her face. Plopping down on the couch like she owned the place, she announced, You're invited to my wedding with James. Come again? Exactly what I said. James and I are getting married. He hasn't contacted you lately, has he? That's because he's been with me this whole time. She slapped down a stack of photos like a poker player revealing a winning hand. My fingers trembled as I flipped through the glossy prints. Every frame showed them tangled together like star-crossed lovers. An icy numbness spread through my chest. Evelyn tilted her chin up triumphantly. Did you actually think he loved you? You're just some knockoff who vaguely resembles me. Could you even handle his rut cycles? I can. Another stack of medical reports hit the coffee table. I pushed the paperwork away without glancing at it. Evelyn preened like a prize rooster, smoothing her designer dress. Well, that's all I came to say. Do come to our wedding. Sure. I hissed. Have James tell me himself. Her smirk turned venomous. Who do you think you are? Can't manage that simple request? I shot back, holding her gaze. Fine. She stormed out, stilettos cracking like gunshots against the hardwood. Alone, I collapsed against the sofa. Those damning photos blurred before my eyes, the medical jargon screaming my inadequacy. After what felt like hours, I fumbled for my phone. The call went straight to voicemail. My knuckles whitened as I scrolled through social media. No engagement announcements. No Carter family press releases. The Carters ruled the city's business world. A real wedding would have trended for days. By nightfall, my screen finally lit up. "Miss me, babe?" James' voice oozed through the speaker. "Crazy day at the office. Just saw your Evelyn visited." Dead air. Then a muffled "goddammit." What did she want? "To invite me to your wedding." "Fuck that noise." The line crackled with his sharp inhale. "I'm only marrying you. Period." My grip tightened around my phone. "Fine." My knuckles turned white. "James, you started this." My voice shook. "If you're lying to me, we're done forever this time." The silence stretched longer now. When James finally spoke, his voice sounded raw. "I swear on the Carter name, the only person I'll ever marry is Ethan." He abruptly shifted tone, that familiar playful lilt returning. "Miss me already, babe?" That sounded like a love confession back there. God, these S-country delegates are draining me. Another midnight negotiation session. "Babe? Hey, babe?" I ended the call. It didn't take a genius to figure out something was wrong. The Carter family must be neck deep in trouble. Still, I chose to trust James. Trusted he'd handle whatever storm was coming. The next morning, I noticed them shadows in black tactical gear blending into the maple trees and hedges. James' security detail, no doubt. Protection or surveillance. I tested them. Pranced around the courtyard with my neighbor's tabby. Wandered to the 24-hour CVS down the block. Not a single agent blinked. Maybe they really were just keeping creeps like Evelyn away. Life settled into strange normalcy. James would materialize between meetings, all hungry kisses and bone-crushing hugs, only to vanish before dawn. His side of the bed always cold by morning. We danced around the unspoken. When autumn leaves carpeted the streets and the first snow dusted Boston, I filmed fat snowflakes spiraling past my window. Texted James 3 consecutive snowflake emojis. His reply came at 3:17 a.m., a blurry selfie with the State House glowing gold behind him. Outside, a kid in a crimson pom-pom hat bounced beside his mother. "Mommy, can we see the Christmas lights at Copley Square?" Their laughter hung crystalline in the frosty air. On impulse, I shrugged into the Canada Goose parka. James insisted we match in. The black-clad sentries nodded almost imperceptibly as my Uber pulled up. Gazing at the neon lights outside the window, I felt an unfamiliar lightness in my chest. The traffic below thickened into a sluggish river of red taillights. "I'll walk from here," I announced to the driver, who nearly wept with gratitude as he pressed a leftover rose into my hand. Said he needed to save the rest for his wife. Twirling the stem between my fingers, I ambled toward Central Square as twilight deepened. Fireworks suddenly tore through the purple sky, their explosions painting fleeting rainbows that drew the crowd like moths. Caught in the human current, I found myself funneled toward the square's beating heart where a massive screen flickered with countdown numbers. Giant pyrotechnic show. A teenager squealed to her boyfriend. The digital clock hit 0. The world exploded. Craning my neck with thousands of others, I watched starbursts morph into cascading willows of light. Then the colors shifted, coalescing into glowing characters that punched the air from my lungs. James and Evelyn are getting married. The rose stem snapped in my grip, thorns biting crescent moons into my palm. More fireworks bloomed, wedding dates, congratulatory messages, until black, suited figures materialized from the shadows. They bundled me into a car smelling faintly of white tea, delivering me back to the apartment that reeked of his cologne. Google yielded nothing about the Carter-Baker merger. My frantic texts to friends uncovered the truth. Engagement rumors had circulated for months. Photos of James and his fiancée appeared in society pages weeks ago. They'd built me a gilded cage with custom firewalls. The phone rang 37 times before I stopped counting. In the bathroom, I poured his favorite perfume down the drain, the cloying scent of white tea blossoms choking me until I flushed it all away. "Go to hell, James," I whispered to the swirling drain. Disguised in yesterday's takeout delivery uniform, I slipped past the distracted security team, dumped my phone in a construction site porta potty. The taxi driver didn't blink at my cash payment for the longest possible ride. As the city skyline shrank in the rearview, I touched the passport burning against my ribs. No more gilded cages. No more scented lies. The highway stretched ahead, Clean and endless. 6 months later. Ethan Clark was living as an ordinary corporate drone in a small town over 3,000 kilometers away from City A. Soon came the company's monthly team building event. During dinner, conversation turned to the alliance marriage between the Carter and Baker families. After half a year of build-up, they're finally tying the knot. That James guy still denies it? What a joke. They officially announced something the whole world already knew. Hey Ethan, didn't you used to live in City A? Know anything about this? I stared blankly at my wine glass, only reacting when hearing my name, suppressing the bitterness in my throat. I drained my drink. Not really. Easy there, Ethan. Slow down. Seriously though, what does an alpha/omega's pheromone actually smell like? Don't even think about it. We're betas. Unless we mutate, we'll never smell anything. Memories flooded back. The faint scent of white tea seemed to linger at my nostrils again. James had claimed his cologne was blended to mimic his natural pheromones. I never knew if that was true. Feeling lightheaded, I excused myself to the restroom. At the beta restroom entrance, someone suddenly grabbed my wrist, pulling me into a warm embrace. Baby, I've missed you so much. My sluggish brain recognized him as I struggled. James kept crushing me against his chest, face buried in my neck. My gut churned. Let go. I don't do affairs. I'm not married. Not yet. But you're about to be. Please let me explain. I spotted coworkers approaching and shouted, "Call security." As colleagues came running, James finally looked up. His face had gone deathly pale, eyes rimmed red. Sweetheart. The growing crowd shielded me protectively. Who are you? Get lost before we call the cops. Wait, isn't that James Carter from the news? He does look familiar. I quickly redirected. Probably just drunk and confused. Let's go. Don't worry, Ethan. We'll walk you home. Thanks. Small town infrastructure couldn't compare to City A. The streetlights in my complex frequently died. After seeing me to my building, the group dispersed. I found James waiting at my doorstep again, clumsily administering an inhibitor shot. Tears streamed down his face when he saw me. Baby, my rut starting again. The moment it happened, I immediately recalled Evelyn's triumphant visit to my apartment. She'd claimed only an omega scent, specifically hers, could stabilize James' rut cycles. So during the entire 8 months we'd planned our wedding, his cycles were perfectly regular. But now that she's out of the picture, everything's gone to hell? I told him to get lost through gritted teeth. James clung to my pant leg, sobbing. The fresh scars crisscrossing his forearm made me frown involuntarily. Honey, let me explain. His whimper echoed in the hallway as curious neighbors peeked through cracked doors. Pinching the bridge of my nose, I finally dragged him inside. The moment the door closed, James dialed up the waterworks. Enough, I snapped. He bit his quivering lip, tears pooling in those ridiculous puppy dog eyes. My temples throbbed. This was the same alpha who'd commanded boardrooms in Chicago with ice-cold precision. How did Rut reduce him to this sniveling mess? James, I sighed, remember what I said? If you lied to me, we're done. You knew the rules. Why the theatrics now? We're not done. He lunged, arms locking around my waist like human handcuffs. I didn't lie. Give me 3 minutes to explain. Oh? Then should I blame the algorithm for accidentally hiding all those arranged marriage alerts from me? It was a panic decision. Save it. Lies are lies. We're through. His wail rattled the windows. I'm sorry. Honey. At least let me stay tonight. My rut's peaking. Thunder boomed outside as if cued. Look, it's pouring. James sniffled dramatically. I came without my phone or wallet. If you kick me out now, I'll have to sleep in the hallway, then sleep there. I shoved him into the dim corridor. One warning. If your rut symptoms disturb the neighbors, I'm calling the cops. Rain hammered the windows past midnight, each droplet drilling into my skull. I twisted in bed. If James actually spent his rut shivering out there, he'd be hospitalized by morning. Grabbing my phone, I opened a Dice app and squeezed my eyes shut. Even number means I take him a blanket. The screen glowed too. I threw it again 6. Fuck. Yanking a comforter from the closet, I wrenched the door open with my best funeral director glare. Empty hallway. Ethan. I growled at my reflection in the peephole. You're such a fucking idiot. The door slammed shut like a gunshot. James was sentenced to death by me once again. Soon enough, the day of their wedding arrived. My coworker dragged me to watch the live stream for the drama. Even our boss was invested in the grand event, turning a blind eye to our slacking. The ceremony commenced. Every few minutes, someone would mutter, "Holy crap, they're loaded," which somehow managed to crack me up. After what felt like hours of the host rambling himself hoarse, the grooms finally made their entrance. The camera zoomed in on James gliding down the aisle in a pristine white tuxedo, every inch the noble gentleman. Evelyn appeared moments later, radiating bridal bliss. The host launched into the vows. "James, do you pledge to honor these wedding vows?" James suddenly snatched the microphone. "I refuse." "James, will only ever love Ethan." The flustered host gestured wildly to cut the feed, plunging the venue into chaos. The camera panned to stone-faced middle-aged men in the front row. One stood abruptly, roaring, "Have you lost your damn mind, James?" Evelyn's trembling voice carried through the commotion. "James, what are you doing? This was supposed to be our dream wedding." The panicked crew focused the camera on a blank projection screen. It suddenly billowed violently. A roaring motorcycle smashed through the fabric, heading straight for Evelyn. Exhaust fumes engulfed the crowd as the rider removed his helmet, revealing William's smirking face. Months earlier, Evelyn had left William at the altar, making him the laughingstock of social media for days. Now he'd cornered his runaway bride. "Thought you could escape forever, sweetheart?" William purred. Evelyn went ghostly pale. Live chat exploded, frowny face. "OMG. This is wild. You guys are insane. Billionaire's forced romance. Where can the bride run now? Host should go rub dish soap on himself. Useless but slippery fun. Since when do we get billionaire drama this spicy?" I was wheezing with laughter until my coworker nudged me. "Hey Ethan, that James guy just shouted someone with your name." The screen showed a helicopter swooping in. James scrambled up the ladder and vanished into the sky. Evelyn knelt sobbing at William's feet. "I'm bound by a system. You die otherwise." William gripped her chin. "Lay off the fanfics." The feed cut out. Our entire office exhaled in unison. Now that was reality TV gold. The middle-aged department head sighed into his mug of tea. Kids these days have no patience. The room erupted in nods of agreement. My phone buzzed with an unknown number. My temple throbbed as I answered. "Babe, did you watch the live stream?" James' voice crackled through wind interference. I hung up instantly. Co-workers pretending not to eavesdrop suddenly became engrossed in paperwork, whistling off-key tunes, or examining cuticles. I squeezed my eyes shut. "Sir, I need to leave early." "Approved." James' security detail arrived first. 3 men in black suits blocked my doorway. "Ethan," their leader said. "James insisted we deliver this recording even if hell freezes over tonight." The living room projector flickered to life, illuminating James' nervous close-up. He kept smoothing non-existent wrinkles from his dress shirt. "Babe, I've loved you since that Tuesday morning 3 years ago when you walked into corporate training late because your left shoelace snapped. The Carter family empire's full of vipers. I had to keep you close through stupid office pranks and fake IT emergencies. My hormone therapy withdrawal symptoms are real. I stopped taking suppressants after our first lunch together. Stay mad if you need to. Scream at me. Throw things. Just don't shut me out." I snorted. The timestamp read August 10th. The day he'd suddenly become too busy for date nights. Footage jumped to August 25th. James looked haggard but triumphant. "Fired 2 VPs today. Stock prices tanked. Don't care. I'll rebuild this company from scratch if needed. Just got off work. Baby, Evelyn tried contacting you?" Whatever she said, it's bullshit. September 13th showed him battle-weary. "The Carters want me to marry Evelyn for some merger bullshit. Over my dead body." His boyish grin returned. "Had your Wi-Fi network upgraded. Hope you like the new firewall settings." October 5th footage made my breath catch. James lifted a plaster-casted arm. "Got ambushed at the docks. They wanted my signature on annulment papers. Took 4 guys to break my dominant hand. Still didn't sign. December 9th shaky cam showed snowflakes and distant explosions. Those fireworks? Carter family theatrics. They're getting desperate. The video cut to James leaning against a hospital bed. Hooked to IVs but grinning. Merry Christmas. Trouble. Got your present early. The board voted Evelyn out this morning. New Year's Eve footage revealed him standing outside my apartment building at 11:57 p.m. Breath visible in the cold. 3, 2, 1. Happy anniversary, Ethan. 3 years since I became yours. He pressed a hand against my lit window. However long this takes. I'll wait. The recording ended. Outside, car doors slammed. Through the peephole, I saw James clutching a shattered snow globe, our inside joke from the company holiday party where we'd first met. Blood dripped from his knuckles. I yanked the door open. You're tracking glass everywhere. His smile could have powered cities. Missed your nagging, babe. We both reached for the broom at the same time. His injured hand covered mine. The kiss tasted like winter and copper and 3 years' worth of unsaid words. Somewhere, a Carter family lawyer probably had an aneurysm. I found I didn't care. Babe, I found your phone and recovered all the data. Didn't know my sweetheart secretly filmed videos of me. Sob God, I've missed you so much. He alternated between crying and laughing like a total psycho. Then came New Year's. Then spring. James contacted the Carter family patriarch, forging an alliance. Together they began hollowing out the Carter family's assets from within. There were kidnappings that nearly ended with them plunging off cliffs. The breaking point came when James went into rut, showing up weeping under my apartment at midnight. Halfway through his meltdown, the family patriarch had him dragged back to Cydia. Something about maintaining operations. This road's been too steep, too dangerous. But I'm almost at the end now. Today's July 29th. The finale comes tomorrow. I'm coming for you. Ethan, I love you. The screen went dark. I touched my face, surprised to find tears. The doorbell rang. James stood there breathing hard, mouth twitching as he tried masking his nerves. Didn't stop me from seeing the vulnerability in his eyes. Babe, get your ass in here. Yes, ma'am.